Hello everyone, welcome back to another session by K21Academy. Today our experts trainer will be talking about Scrum project phases, initiate using JIRA software. So let's get into the video.
So if you see here, this is your JIRA tool, okay, where every one of you can be able to use this JIRA, which is of free of cost. You don't need to pay anything. Okay, so you can just go ahead and try to use this JIRA software. So inside this JIRA software, if you see here, there is an option to see your backlog here. This is your backlog. Now this backlog is something which is totally handled by your product owner. See, as of now in this backlog, there is nothing present. The backlog is empty. So imagine that you are a product owner. So you will go ahead and you are going to fill your backlog as per your requirement. So how do you fill your backlog? Here there is an option to create an issue. So you can please click on create an issue. Say this is your login page. Okay, so if you can just go ahead and try to open a create issue, and you can just say login page, and you can also choose any task or any bug if you want to use. You can also be able to do that. Okay, so now for example, if I could just say this is my login page, which I can go ahead and try to work on. Okay, or otherwise if you want to create an issue from here, also are always able to create there. It will show you the project, the story, the summary. I can say this is my login page. You can scroll it down. If you have any description, you can provide your description and everything here. And as of now, I don't have any assignee. It is me only. But if you have any assignees, you can also assign them over here. Okay, and rest of the things I would just leave it like that and say I will create it. Okay. See, now it got created over here in my backlog. See, I have one that is login page. Okay, so this is my login page which got created. Now, again, if I go up and say create at the top, okay, so again, I want to create instead of login page already that is done. Now I want to create a cart page. Okay, I can say summary as a cart page, and then description. If you have any, you can provide it. You can provide who is an assignee. You can just add the assignee respectively, like whom you want to assign it, or you can also leave it unassigned so that in your sprint planning meeting, once you go ahead and try to discuss, right, then you can get who can be a proper assignee for it. And then you can scroll it down and say create it. The moment it is created, again, you can scroll it down and see that there is a cart page present here. So if you observe here, in this way, your backlog is set to be created. You will keep on creating as and when you see your requirements from your product planning meeting. As a product owner, you will see that in your product planning meeting, whatever the priorities, whatever the requirements are coming in, right, you can just go ahead and try to create it, and you can also prioritize it. See, you can always prioritize. You can just drag and drop over here. So the top items are always on high priority and the bottom items are of least priority. So you can always align your priority accordingly as per your priority. So let me say, if I say cart page is my priority than the login page, you can always put this on the high priority, which is at the first. Otherwise, you can just go with the same pattern which is present here. Okay, so again, if you want to create anything, just click on the create button. Okay, and say summary. Now I would say I need a billing page. Okay, and then I don't want any other details. I don't have any assignees as of now, so I would just leave it like that and say create it. Okay, so now this is going to create me another one, that is a billing page here. You can just realign it as per your priorities and how you want to take it up. It's totally up to you. So you can just go ahead and try to align in a way however you want it. So now this is your backlog. Okay, this is your product backlog, which is totally owned by the product owner. In your industry or in your organization, definitely you will be having a lot of items present in your product backlog. Okay, so in the sprint planning, what happens is this backlog will be readily available in this way. So your product owner brings in, hey, team, these are of high priority. Let's discuss about it. So you will give your understanding what you got from your product planning meeting. Okay, so you will go ahead and try to discuss this with your team. So right now we don't have a description, but otherwise, if you can go ahead and let me say, go ahead and try to, let me just show you this part here. Okay, so when I open this here, right? So in this case, if you could observe here, if you have any description, you can go ahead and try to add the description. So as a, let me say, as a user, okay, I want to use the login page so that it will be helpful for me to access the website. So just like that, as I have just normally I have just kept it as a user. I want to use the login page so that it will be helpful for me. Okay, so for me to access the website, you can just save it. See, now this is my description. At least it will give an idea like what is that which you require it. If you have any attachments, you can click on attach and you can get the attachments over there. Okay, so whatever attachments are required for you, you can just click on attach button. And if you have any supporting document, right, you can always go ahead and try to attach it to it. And these are your status. Like right now it is in to do. The moment you go ahead and try to work on it, you can say it is in progress, and then finally it is said to be done. Okay, but again, this is not our priority right now. I will discuss this in our practical part. But our discussion right now here is to make you understand this is how our product backlog generally looks like. Okay, your product owner always comes in and ensures that there are enough stories or tasks which are being present here, which are being aligned appropriately, so that whenever if we want to plan the sprint, at least everything should be ready at the backlog level. We will discuss that in our planning session. We will get the required insights and then we will be able to work on it. This is how generally, if you could observe, your backlog would look like, and this is totally being handled by your product owner only. If your product owner is not aware of all these things, as a Scrum Master, you should always ensure that your product owner is having awareness towards all these things. If they are not having awareness, it is your responsibility. As you know, when you see the roles and responsibilities of a Scrum Master, right? As a service to the product owner, we should always educate, coach, and mentor them so that they can be able to do the things appropriately. Okay, so you always need to ensure that you're taking up the things in a proper pattern so that all of these things can be aligned appropriately. Okay, so this is how your product backlog looks like. So now if you ask me, let me say in the sprint planning session, the login page was discussed. The product owner gave a very detailed description and everything went really nice. And now at the other end, okay, at the other end, let me say the development team is also very clear. Then what we can do is we can just drag it and pull it to the sprint here. Okay, the sprint is present here. At the top only, you will have your sprint. Let me say the cart page is also clear. Now this is also understood appropriately. You can commit it into the sprint. Now this building page, we will say later in the next sprint. So the team is going to commit. The moment you say start the sprint, then only the sprint is going to start. Even though you have added the items here, it does not mean that your commitments are done. The moment you start the sprint, it indicates that whatever you have committed, you have started working on it. Okay, so this is how we will be pulling it in the sprint planning session. The moment we are very clear with all our understanding and everything is done, you are just going to take and just pull it over here. That means the team has committed. Okay, right now I don't want the billing page to be present. Let me put it in the backlog. Even the cart page also, let me put it in the backlog only. So the team has committed to work on the login page and they will start working on it. Okay, you can always go ahead and add your dates. So you can add, you can say custom and you can start putting the dates today. So you can just add your date, like today is a September 4th. Okay, and I can take up to how many weeks? See, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Okay, I can say 2 weeks of my sprint, automatically it will take it up. Okay, and then you can also add your sprint goal, whatever the team has believed that we should be able to take the goal, right? You can add that goal here and update it. Okay, see here, our sprint is starting from today, that is 4th September to 18th September. Okay, and then the moment you click on start sprint, right, it will be started. But right now I will not take care of that because right now we are talking about the product backlog, right? So whatever information I've provided it to you is an extra information, but all these things I will show you when we deal the practical aspect of the project. But generally, if you observe here, this is our backlog, like where you can always go ahead, click on the create button at the top, and then you can create whatever is required for you in the summary, provide a description if there is any, and then assign it to whosoever is like want to work on. Otherwise, you can leave it in the planning session itself. We can ask who wants to work on it and we can assign them. And finally, you can say on the click on the create button. Automatically it will be created. You can prioritize it by dragging up to the top and bottom. So you can just drag and play with it as and when, however you want. And along with that, the top items are of high priority and the bottom items are of least priority. And along with this, in the sprint planning session, you know that whatever items which you believe that the team is going to commit or the team wants to work on. So once we have a clarity, we will just drag and put it in the respective sprint. Okay, and the moment we click on start sprint, then only we are going to commit. Otherwise, we are not going to commit until then. Even though it is there, the commitment has not been done. We have planned it, but we have not committed yet because our sprint has not started. And you can always customize your dates from here. Okay, so here there is an option, edit the sprint. In the sprint, when you've got a chance to edit it, right, you can just implement, okay, whatever is your duration, and then you can also put your start and end date. And finally, your sprint goal. So that's how we can be able to plan it. And this is how I want to explain to you, like how we will be able to do it in the JIRA tool, like how the backlog would look like and how the sprint would look like, how you are going to commit the stories, how you can be able to create the stories and put it in the backlog, how do you edit your sprint dates. And if you observe the user story here, let me say, if I click on this user story, and if I would just open the link in a new tab, right, you can be able to see one important point over there. Let me try to open this page and see towards the right hand side here. If I just go ahead, okay, if I can just be able to go ahead and try to show you this, the story point estimate here is none. There is no story point estimate. So once I discuss this login page, I can put some number here saying it as 8 and say tick mark over here. So now this is an 8 pointer. By just saying this number for this user story, I can be able to say that whether it is a less effort been involved here or more effort been involved here. The complexity will be understood by just saying the story point estimate here. So this is how practically also we will be adding it up. Now in the same way, if I go to the cart page, okay, and if you just scroll it down here itself, okay, so here there is a story point estimate present. Let me say cart page involves a very less effort, that is pi I can put. See here, it is also visible in this case. See, it is an 8 pointer. Okay, you have kept an effort of 8 point for this story. That means it is high complex and it is a 5 pointer. Let me say billing page. I can go to the billing page and where is my story point estimate? Okay, I can just put a 13 pointer to it, which is highly complex. So in this way, I'm not saying that, hey, this is really complex or this is not complex. Like I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying you that in a user story, you have a field call as a story point. You can just go ahead and try to add the story points over there. That is the field like where you can put your estimates. Now, what number it should come there? I am not the right person because I am a Scrum Master. As a development team, they will be ready to go and try to estimate it. It's not my job to do that. My job is to ensure that every story is having a story point estimate as a Scrum Master. Now, it is a development team responsibility to know the technicalities and the functionality of the user story, and then they should be able to estimate it. You should have that clarity so that you can be able to do the things in a much better way.
So guys, this was our expert from Team K21Academy, and if you want to have a deeper dive, then we have something really special for you. We have our free class on what is Scrum Master roles and responsibilities. Under this free class, we cover what is Agile in Scrum, what is a Scrum Master roles and responsibilities, and a lot of things that will make you have a better career in this domain. All you have to do is just log on to k21academy.com/Scrum02. Click on register now, select an event date according to your availability, add your name, your email address, your phone number, and click on yes, save my seat. Moving ahead, you'll be seeing this kind of interface Just save that link on the extreme right, add it to your calendars, and I'll see you in the free class. Till then, take care and keep learning.